Okay, so here is an egg that pipped in the wrong end. And it's been sitting there for 24 hours. And we can see that the bird is still alive. First of all, I want to tell you that there's always a risk when you do this. So if you leave them in there and you don't rescue them, they could die. And then if you do this too early, they could also die. Okay, so you have to use your best judgment. I try not to rush, but I do look at the eggs, and if it's been like 24 hours, I will most likely rescue. So what I did was I got some oil, some avocado oil in a cotton swab, and when I took the egg out, it was hard already. The membrane was hard. You see movement right there. That means it's still alive. And so you have to be very careful. When I was doing this, I was looking for like soft spots. So like if I touched it and it broke off without trouble, then I broke off the shell, and as you can see, I was just touching it to see if the membrane came off with the shell, and it didn't. So the membrane is super stuck to the chick. So what you need to do is to oil the membrane and let it soak through. If you are peeling it off and it's not coming off, do not force it. It will hurt them. So this is going to be a long video. As you can see, it's almost 16 minutes. That's because it just takes a while to do that. So it's important that you're very, very patient. So just keep wetting it, keep wetting it, keep wetting it with the oil. And then look for some spots where it's softening, where you can try peeling it off. And see, there again, I was trying to see if anything would come off. The harder part also is that the membrane was in one piece. It wasn't in a bunch of little pieces. So it was difficult for me to find a spot where I can rip it off that won't hurt the chick. If you rip it off, it will hurt the chick and take off the feathers. See, I'm feeling it there again to see if it's softened. Looking again for some areas where I can peel off the shell so that I can lubricate. Okay, I messed up and didn't use a hygrometer, however else you say it. And I just kind of put water in there, and normally I do put a hygrometer inside my machine. My machine is very good, but I got the Brinsea Maxi 2, and it does not have the automatic humidity reader. It has the temperature, the digital temperature, but not humidity. I dry hatch my birds, so I am just at whatever it is that my environment is, and I normally sit at around 30 to 32% humidity. And I've seen that it works well, especially when I do mixed hatching. I also use, like, I do candle, and I look at the air sac.
You should have put that on the long ways.
To determine if they're losing enough or if they're losing too much humidity. As you can just see, just a few minutes ago, I tried to peel off something and it was hard. So we had to put it on pause, and we went sideways here. I'm not sure how to fix it. I'm brand new at this, but hopefully you guys can still see it. It's not as good anymore, but I can't go back and fix it. can't redo any of these videos, but as you can see, I will check, I will lube, I will check, I will lube. And I will keep checking. Right here, there you go. I think I got a little bit of the membrane here. I actually did get a piece of the membrane here. It loosened up. So be very careful when you do that. Again, do not force it. Okay. This chick was wetter. 2 of them had to get rescued. What are the advantages of rescuing them? Well, it's a live chick. It was still alive. I'm not gonna let it die if I can help it. If it dies because I hatched it, then, you know, at least I did everything I can. At least that's my personal philosophy. Again, I wasn't rushing this bird. This bird was pipped already for more than 24 hours. I could see it was struggling, and it was like the last bird, the last egg, I mean, that has pipped. You can see there it stuck its foot out, so I'm able to loosen it up there. It's still pretty stuck, so I just keep lubing, and keep looking for an area where it's loose, and then try to work it from there. And just be patient here. Do not rush it. I have someone else holding the phone to record it. This cannot be done. You're gonna need 2 hands. I should have worn a glove. I didn't think this bird was gonna be very wet or wetter. One that I had rescued earlier in the day, it was dry, and it didn't take half as long as this bird. This bird was very stuck. It was still wet, but it was stuck, and I don't know why that is. Maybe, again, I'm just thinking it's because I did not use my hygrometer, and so as I was saying earlier, here's another piece that just came off. You can see that the pieces are clean, no dust, no feathers were attached to them, so be very, very careful. As I was saying, see, I'm struggling right here. I'm struggling in that portion. The foot keeps kicking out, but the face is not clean. It's not unstuck yet. It's not going to be able to free itself at this point. Okay, so as I was saying, I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, the one that I hatched earlier on wasn't as wet as this one, but this one didn't have any more blood, so I know there's no more yolk left. So I know that it was due. It was due. I wasn't early, or I wasn't too early, even though it was still wet. On that part, the little pieces of shell was not coming off, so lube. That's the key here. If you ever have to do this, make sure you have several cotton swabs, because as you can reuse the cotton swabs. You know, just a little dab goes a long way. They're very little. But just in case you need extra oil, or you're running out of the soft part of the cotton, you know, just use a new swab. If you can see that it's getting white right there, I put more oil on it, and then I'm checking. There you go. It peeled off clean this time around. It's almost there. It's almost there. There you go. There you go, buddy. But also there were a few pieces here that was very stuck again still. As you can see, it was stuck all over. And you just have to hold them firmly. Sorry about that. Just have to hold them firmly. It will slither out of your hand if you don't let it go. It's almost done. Be gentle. This bird is an Americana, an Easter egger, not a pure-blooded Americana. He's got to be careful about that. Americana with no U is technically an Easter egger, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It just, people get it mixed up. I have two just because I'm so enamored with the blue eggs, the colored eggs, and I love the puffy cheeks on the Americanas. Hoping one day I can find an Araucana, but those are pretty hard to find. So make sure that you get all of the membrane off, because if you don't get all of the membrane off and you put the chick back in, it'll dry up and it'll be harder to take off. So once it's off, it won't stick back on. So if there was like little pieces of shell inside your incubator still, it's not going to stick back on as long as the membrane is not on there. But there were hard pieces of membrane still on this bird. Okay. And so as you can see, there's no more shell, but I'm still wiping. That's because there's still a hard piece of membrane. So you have to really look at the whole body to make sure that you got all of the membranes. The hard, really hard stuck. It almost feels like a scab. If you can see, it like it has a little spring back. That's because it's so hard. It's almost coming off. You can see that it's like a top of the scab. It's like a wound, but it's technically clear. It's their membrane, the inner membrane of the eggs, and you see it all the time when you crack an egg. So that membrane. Oh. Hand is in the way here. We're almost done.
Okay, it's getting loose.
It took longer because we did put it on pause, so it wasn't just 15 minutes. Do you see that really big membrane there that I'm working on? And also, when you pull the membrane off, go with the flow of the feathers. Do not pull up against the feather, or else you'll rip the feathers off. So on this part, the feathers are going down, so I'm stroking it down and then trying to see if there's more pieces that are stuck or if it's a bone. There's so little here. Like, they're little wings. Just tiny, 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 tiny. It's probably shorter than the head of that cotton swab, the wings. So when this one, when it dries officially, and you guys will see it in a little bit, when it dries, it's gonna look like a wet rat. It's not gonna be fluffy, but that's because of all the oil. There you go. It's trying to get out. Almost done. I'm just double checking. I'm touching everything, making sure that I did not miss any more membrane, that all of it is off. And this one is pretty much, this one's done. Here you go. So when you put it back in the incubator, you gotta put it back in. You can't put it in the brooder. it will stumble and it will try to find its footing. And if you see that it's working hard, then you want to assist it to make sure it finds its way to sitting up. Here it is now, several hours later, and touched it out. Legs are strong. He's walking around, ready. I think he's ready to go out with his buddies. He's by himself. He doesn't want to be lonely. So the rest of his buddies are in the brooder. And then, so I put him in there. So the other ones have been hatched for more than 12 hours before him. So yeah, successful rescue here. Thanks for watching. Like and